You're watching News 10 ABC at 9 a.m.
Welcome back. Our Earth Week series continues this morning, and today we are talking about the ever so beautiful Lake George and what is being done to conserve the capital region destination's natural beauty. Via Zoom this morning, I am joined by Eric Seid, the president of the Lake George Association. Good morning, Eric.
Hi. It's great to be here.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we appreciate you stopping by here during this Earth Week to help us celebrate. A little bit of backstory about you. You've been working for a number of years to preserve Lake George. You're now the president of the Lake George Association, which of course merged with the fund a couple of years ago. So what have you seen during your time working with that preservation effort?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And everybody knows Lake George is if they don't, they should, the queen of American lakes. There's no place like it in this country or the world. It's a destination for millions. And because of that, Lake George is under a lot of pressure. And we're seeing the effects of that pressure more than ever. In fact, Lake George, a few years ago, experienced its first harmful algal bloom. So this is a collection of algae that is very visible. It's green. It's not crystal clear and blue like the lake we love. So that was a big red flag for us, the canary in the coal mine, if you will, that we need to do more to protect our lake, and particularly the signature clear waters that attract so many to this crown jewel of lakes.
Right, and it's not just for recreation and obviously economic boom during the summertime for the region that Lake George brings, but it's also the primary drinking water source for the community, which I think maybe a lot of people don't realize. So there's just that extra importance to keep the ecosystem clean and healthy, right?
They don't, yeah, that's right. They don't realize it's the primary drinking water supply. In fact, Lake George enjoys the highest designation for water quality that the state of New York gives. It's a Class AA special lake. Very few water bodies in the state have that designation, and it deserves special protection because of that. And yet it is heavily used, and again, under an awful lot of pressure because it is such a beautiful place. Who doesn't want to come to Lake George? But we know folks don't want to come here to experience green water. They want to experience blue, clear water.
And you were talking earlier during our interview about the algal bloom that you had a couple of years ago. What are some of the other threats to this jewel of this region?
The biggest threats are, believe it or not, stormwater runoff. We've seen with climate change increasingly intense extreme weather events. I mean, we're seeing them everywhere, right? But at Lake George, we are seeing literally billions of gallons of contaminated stormwater running off into the streams, across the landscape and into the lake ultimately. And it is carrying nutrients. It is carrying everything you can imagine, that stormwater. And it is having a very, very serious impact on everything we know and love about Lake George.
In our last 30 seconds together, Eric, what is something that everybody can do whenever they think about making their plans to visit Lake George this spring and summer?
Sure. Well, they can be mindful of the fact that this is a crown jewel. It is a treasure to be protected. And they can certainly support our work. I'd be remiss in not saying that. Check out lakegeorgeassociation.org and become a lake protector. We have created a lake protector program where everyone can participate in protection of Lake George, and it will take everyone to succeed. So we're thrilled to have everybody join us, particularly this Earth Day week. So thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And thank you for sharing the efforts that you are doing and your team is doing to make sure that we preserve this queen of the American lakes up there in Lake George. Eric Seid, we appreciate your time this morning, the president of the Lake George Association. And we'll continue our Earth Week series all week long here at News 10 at 9 a.m. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader.